First Friday is a monthly event that invites a number of local artists to display their work. We'll also take a look at the end of a superhero era.
Later, we'll sit down with Michael Easter, host of a new health radio show at KUNV. We have all this and more. You're watching Studio G.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome back to Studio G. I'm Kayleen Talents.
And I'm Alyssa Truesdale.
Nevada is ranked as one of the top 12 deadliest states for pedestrians. Taimi Soto has tips based on experts to avoid accidents while walking on the streets.
The streets of Las Vegas are full of pedestrians. While this could bring up the possibilities of accidents, UNLV website offers the following safety tips to minimize the chances of pedestrians being hit. Always cross at the marked crosswalks. You forfeit your rights as a pedestrian if you do otherwise. Do not cross between parked cars. Obey pedestrian signals and look both ways. Wait until the car stops. Do not cross just because a driver waves you on. Make eye contact with drivers and watch out for traffic as you cross. Use sidewalks where provided. It is usually safer to walk facing road traffic. Experts advise to avoid using your cell phone while crossing the street. Las Vegas has been ranked the 21st worst for pedestrian safety, according to a new report from the National Complete Street Coalition. From 2005 to 2014, this city had 401 deaths. In 2014, close to 5,000 walkers died nationwide, which is about 13 people every day. For more information and tips, visit the website on the screen. For Studio G, Taimi Soto.
UNLV also offers tips to bicyclists and drivers.
The annual First Friday event had several local artists publicly showing their artistic skills on the street. Let's take a look at some of the art from this past Friday.
First Friday invites the community to showcase their works of art for others to see and be inspired by. Several artists for the March for Art event explains what brought them to come out.
We're all kind of one big family down here, so we're all here to sort of support one another. But this particular First Friday, I'm down with Guerrilla Arts, which I am co-founder with Russo Logic.
I'm actually a student at Las Vegas Academy of the Arts, so my art teacher set up this thing with the Gorilla Cage murals. I definitely think my art is very surrealistic, and I like to incorporate a lot of political and social issues.
Last First Friday, it was just killer. It was just like, it's like a playground out here. So I was like, yo, I would love to do that. Yeah, so my art's a mix between like graffiti and fine art.
So I wanted to get involved, and they invited me to come. I see myself as like an organic, like intuitive painter. I just kind of like let the piece flow how it wants to go.
After almost years of practice and hard work, the artists shared their piece of advice for those on heading to the same path.
I really don't believe in the term aspiring artist. I feel like everyone is an artist, you know?
Just talk to everybody and let everybody know what you're doing. And don't be afraid of shamelessly self-promotion.
Just do it. Like people all the time are always telling me like, oh, I'm so jealous that you can draw, or I'm so jealous you can paint, or whatever. The only reason I can do it is because I do it. I'm almost never happy with it, but you just got to keep doing it anyway, or you'll never get any better.
Their passion has definitely shown through the artwork for the whole city to see. For Studio G, I'm Giselle De Los Reyes.
Applications to be involved in the event can be found on their website at ffflv.org.
There are amazing UNLV graduates who are making a name for themselves within the Las Vegas community. One such individual is Carlos Holguin, a bass player who's enjoying every moment of the struggle to become a rock star. Our very own shooting star has more.
I'm Lee Guilford. Today I'm here with Carlos Holguin, UNLV graduate and bass musician here in Las Vegas, to talk about some of the things he has going on. We caught up with him while he was in the studio for his weekly radio broadcast, and we're going to take the opportunity to hear a little bit more from him. Carlos talks about some of the gigs he has going on and what it's like to be a professional musician.
Yes, I was in Texas. I'm playing with a local band, and we got hired to go play out there. It was a wonderful time. We stayed at a nice hotel, and I had never really visited Dallas, so that was really a wonderful opportunity.
Carlos certainly is a busy gentleman.
Well, thankfully, I am a full-time musician. I've played in many of the different lounges on the Strip and a couple of different Broadway shows, and I'm also playing a lot of regional Mexican music. Well, my favorite moments, I think, are when I'm grooving and I'm playing bass, whether I'm playing country, jazz, rock, pop, it doesn't matter. But when I'm playing and I see people smiling and having a good time, that's how I know I've done my job. That's how But just earlier today, I got done with a video shoot, and I'm here with you today. And tomorrow, I've got another video shoot for a live video. And so, luckily, I'm busy.
That sounds good. Ever since his graduation, he's been grinding, trying to reach his dreams of being a professional musician on the biggest stages. For Studio G, I'm Lee Guilford.
The life of a rock star differs from person to person. Carlos is one alumni who appears to have a bright future. After the break, we'll take a look at our world news. Stay tuned, you're watching Studio G. Welcome back to Studio G. Now let's take a look at what's going on around the world. Jamie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Kayleen and Alyssa. I'm Jamie Poole, and I have your world news for today. Vice President Mike Pence is slated to visit a number of countries next month. He's expected to travel to Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, and Australia in the hopes of smoothing over relations with U.S. allies. Many of these countries are still adjusting to President Trump's new leadership. During the visits, Pence will discuss Trump's decision out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This deal would have included Japan and Australia. Pence will be traveling to Indonesia, the largest Muslim nation, in hopes of cracking down on the refugee and travel and immigration brought up by the Trump administration. Pence's visit to South Korea may be ill-timed as South Korea President Park Geun-hye's impeachment has led to rioting throughout the country. We'll find out more about the slated visits as April comes closer. The U.S., Japan, and South Korea have sent quite a message to North Korea today. A number of drills dispatched high-tech missile defense ships to the same area where North Korean missiles were fired just a week ago. American, South Korean, and Japanese warships began exercises this morning to improve on defense strategies involving ballistic missiles. China's foreign ministry commented on the exercises, stating that all sides need to end a vicious cycle that could spiral out of control. Hua Chunying, a spokeswoman from the ministry, said that North Korea has violated UN Security Council resolutions banning its ballistic missile launches. On the other hand, South Korea, the U.S., and Japan insist on conducting super large-scale military drills. In response, North Korean officials are accusing America of preparing a preemptive strike. Turkey and the Netherlands feud continued on Sunday, with Turkish president accusing the NATO ally of fascism and Nazism. President Recep Erdogan wants to crack down on journalists, academics, and the public service sector, according to CNN. He is also publishing a referendum that would expand his powers in the majority Muslim nation. The week's general elections in the Netherlands puts a hardened anti-Islam candidate against the current prime minister. On Saturday, the Netherlands barred a plane carrying a Turkish foreign minister from entering the country. Officials state that the minister, Mevlut Cavusoglu, was not allowed into the country for security concerns. The Dutch have previously stopped a Turkish family affairs minister from entering the Turkish consulate in Rotterdam. Protests have broke out in both countries, and Erdogan stated that the Netherlands is sacrificing Turkish-Dutch relationships over accused Islamophobia. All around the world, people are participating in #MyFreedomDay. The event was created by activists who are fighting to raise awareness about human trafficking. The campaign against modern-day slavery is trending online on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag. So far, participants from the Philippines, Brazil, South Africa, Turkey, and more have posted using the hashtag. Each post has photos of murals, paintings, presentations, and poems have been made against human trafficking. That's it for news around the world. Now let's take a look at your weather.
Good afternoon, I'm Jessica Vargas and thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at our temperatures for the day. Here we have 71 degrees, high 88, low 58. It's looking like we have the same temperatures as last week, so it's nice. We have nice and sunshine all throughout the day. As for, unfortunately, New York has not been having the same luck as we are here. They hit with the winter storm Stella last night through late night through early morning. And specifically New York, the storm caused a lot of power outage and tree damage in certain areas. The governor of New York recommended all residents to stay home and avoid going outside for their safety. They have been experiencing a lot of heavy snow and winds, which caused many schools to be closed as well as businesses. And even about 1,100 flights were canceled and 200 passengers were stranded at Kennedy Airport. So for any Las Vegas residents that are planning on going to New York, make sure you keep a lookout for the weather. Now, as for our 5-day forecast, here we're 88 today, 87. It looks like we go right back up to 91 degrees on Saturday. Our lowest would be 58 degrees, which that would be tonight. Overall, it's looking like a pretty nice week, pretty nice weekend. Enjoy. Make sure you take advantage of this because we're in a month or so, we're going to be hitting those 110 temperatures. So we're not going to want to be outside for that. Now, as for the valley here, we have 75 degrees Centennial. North Las Vegas is at 70, Las Vegas 73, Southern Highlands 74. So it's looking around the 70s throughout the valley. The highest will be Centennial with 75 and North Las Vegas 70 and Nellis. And as for here at UNLV, we have clear skies, wind speeds 3 miles per hour, humidity is only 20%. So it's a pretty nice day out today. If for students and professors that are walking to their class or they have breaks in between, make sure to stop by Paya Plaza and hang out there for a little bit. It's nice. You'll feel the breeze. You're in the grass and have trees all over. So definitely be a nice time to do that. As for tonight here, we have 60 degrees, clear skies, wind speeds at 2 miles per hour, humidity is 18%. So it's still pretty good later on the evening. It won't be, you won't need a jacket or sweater for tonight. As for our national forecast here, we have the lowest being Chicago at 25 degrees and the highest of Los Angeles at 84. So the rest, we have New York at 33, Kansas at 38. So we're having a mixture of weather throughout the nation here. And that's it for your weather segment. Thank you for tuning in. And now back to the studio.
After the break, we'll sit down with Michael Easter. So stay tuned.
This is a nutrition center. Anyone from the Las Vegas community is welcome. We can get more people into the nutrition center, get them more educated, then they can learn what ways to prevent chronic diseases and to become healthier individuals. All classes are held in BHS building, Bigelow Health Sciences, room 212, and the times vary, but you could always check them at the UNLV calendar or UNLV Today, and all the classes, times, and descriptions are available there.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Welcome back, Rebels. My name is Nicole Soto, and I am sitting down with Michael Easter, former editor of Men's Health and newest KUNV host and Urban Affairs faculty manager. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming in. You know, one of my first questions I would just love to know is what really inspired you to focus on health?
You know, it's interesting. I just kind of had this inherent interest in health growing up. I subscribed to Men's Health from the time I was like 13. In college, I realized I wanted to work for magazines, so I just started to sort of work my way into the industry, and I ended up at in sort of the dream job at Men's Health, and I was there for about 7 years, and now I'm here, another awesome role. So.
Yeah, you were there 7 years. You were senior editor over there. You have, I read a few of your articles, and yeah, they're really great. But what made you decide to kind of make that transition from, senior editor to teacher and even, radio host? What made you decide to do that?
Yeah, so I'd always wanted to get into academia as well, teaching. And, the nice thing is I can still freelance for Men's Health. So I'm still writing for Men's Health and a bunch of other publications while also being able to teach. And then the radio show came about because with the creation of the new medical school, there's a big opportunity to have, interesting guests on. And, frankly, Las Vegas, if you look at sort of the numbers, we're not the healthiest city. So it's a good opportunity to get sort of the public involved and get knowledge out there to help people improve their lives.
Oh, that's great. What can listeners expect? Because the show just started last week, was it?
Correct. So the first air date was last Monday, and it's on
Monday.
at 8 p.m. on Mondays.
On Mondays, 8 p.m. What can listeners expect when they tune in?
So we have a broad net over health. The first show we had the dean of the new medical school talking about why the medical school is so important for Las Vegas, what it's going to bring to the community. The last episode we had a guy talking about medical privacy, but we're going to cover topics like nutrition, exercise, basically just a wide range of things that you can bring into your life to hopefully be a little healthier.
And that's great. I also did notice that you have a lot of really great interviews with interesting people such as Rick Ross or Ben Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say is your favorite interview?
Ooh, Rick Ross is hard to beat. I still have that audio on my phone, and I'll just listen to it in the car because it's so funny. He said some things that we won't talk about here. Mark Wahlberg was great, just with how friendly he is. He's just, a lot of times celebrities can be a little guarded because, it's almost like everybody wants something from him. But he was just sort of like normal guy. It's been fun.
Easy to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some topics that you're kind of looking to explore in the near future?
Right now I'm writing a piece for Vice about the term clean eating and how it has some implications that might make it not as useful for a lot of people. It's pretty vague, and it's kind of like, well, what does that even mean, So the piece gets into that and some nutrition disparities among, people who tend to make less money tend to eat less healthy. So it sort of gets into the why of that.
And I also wanted to ask you, of all the schools out there, what made you choose UNLV to teach at?
I love the location. I've always loved Las Vegas. When I was a kid, my mom asked me, do you want to go to Disneyland? And I said, no, I'd rather go to Vegas. So I've always loved Las Vegas, and UNLV is great because it's so diverse. I went to a school on the East Coast where, frankly, it really wasn't that diverse, and I thought, it lacked a lot of different voices in the classroom because of that. So being able to come into UNLV, I sort of, get that and get to interact with a lot of different people.
How has your experience been so far?
So far, it's great. Everyone's super nice. A lot of bright students. People picking up on things quickly, and it's just been great so far.
What would you say is the most surprising thing about teaching that you didn't expect?
You have to face moments of dead silence where no one wants to talk. So just sort of tap your feet. But I'm kind of trying to figure out ways to get around that. And also just how great some young writers are. Frankly, I've read some sentences that are just perfect, and it's really exciting to see that.
Well, that's awesome. I'm sure that you're looking forward to the future, and then hopefully, these are going to be more teaching years for you to come. What what are you planning to do in the future? What are some big goals that you're trying to accomplish right now?
I'd like to stick around here for a while, build up the radio show, also just build up writing for other magazines, start to work on, features, not only for Men's Health, but I'm also doing some stuff for Outside and Vice, and, hopefully a few more, just really kind of, live life and be present and just sort of enjoy it. So.
And last question, speaking of living life and enjoying yourself, what kinds of things do you love to do in your spare time?
I was at Men's Health, so it was kind of a requirement for the job, an unofficial requirement to work out. So I do a lot of trail running around here, which is great. I was living on the East Coast, it's a little harder to find nice trails. So here it's like there's one, 10, 15 minutes away. So I do a lot of that, and I really enjoy my job writing. So I do a lot of writing. It's like a fun thing, and that I get paid for it is nice. So.
That was great. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming in today. Well, that's unfortunately all the time that we have. I want to thank you for taking the time with us. We will be right back after these short messages.
Get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
And we're back, Rebels. Thanks for sticking with us. The NBA's Russell Westbrook has been posting historic numbers in the 2016-17 season. For more on his MVP season, Yuri Andreashuk has the story.
Oklahoma City point guard Russell Westbrook has been having a phenomenal season in the NBA. He's currently having an unbelievable triple-double on the season with 30 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and 10 assists per game. If he finishes the regular season with a triple-double, he'll be the first one to have done so since Oscar Robertson in the 1961 NBA season. Westbrook is sensational, but critics are wondering whether OKC's current 4-game losing streak will hinder his MVP chances and put Houston Rockets point guard James Harden in the front seat and open the door for San Antonio Spurs guard Kawhi Leonard to enter the race. This comes after the Thunder's recent loss to the Portland Trail Blazers, in which Westbrook scored 58 points. The Thunder currently stand at 7th in the Western Conference with a 35-29 record. UNLV students weighed in on Westbrook's historic season along with his MVP chances.
If he doesn't get, I honestly think it should be Harden, because Harden has the Rockets have a better record, or even maybe even Kawhi. I can see Kawhi Leonard being in the forefront of being MVP. But yeah, I do think the Thunder's record will reflect if Russell Westbrook gets MVP or not. Because I do feel you do have a regular season MVP as well as a playoff MVP. So I do think it's necessary for the award to be given after each portion of the season.
Westbrook is having a season for the ages, but his chances at winning the MVP award definitely rides on the team's success. Fans are rooting for him and are also hoping for a potential first-round playoff matchup between the Thunder and the Warriors, so Westbrook can face his former teammate Kevin Durant. For Studio G, I'm Yuri Andreashuk.
Westbrook has been nothing short of exceptional this year.
The UNLV men's tennis team has been doing very well this season, and it seems like they're hungry and ready to take the win for this season. Matches at the Frank and Vicky Fertitta Tennis Complex this past weekend. The first trio match was against Boston College on Friday. The players who had double matches were UNLV Jacob Emilian and Evaldo Neto, while UNLV Richard Solberg and Adam Gage Brown defeated their opponents 6-3 on the court.
Played a few. We've played about, I think, 8 matches. So right now we're 6-2. So it's still early in the season, but hopefully we can keep it going.
The team has been practicing for a while and have been showing improvement since last semester. For those who don't know what exercises that tennis teams does, well, Coach Owen Hambrook will give us a little bit more information on that.
We do place a big emphasis on the fitness, strength and conditioning, and we've really made that a priority this year. And nothing too different, tennis is a little unique, so everyone's a little different, but we'll maybe do a couple of things differently with different guys, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same.
As for Saturday's long matchup against BYU and Northern Arizona, the Rebels won a clear game against BYU with a 4-1. The Rebels won 2 out of 3 double matches to secure the point. It was a good rally for each team with both hitting great serves and making points, but UNLV had more accuracy than BYU. Now, as for the singles, the Rebels won 3 matches to capture the win, going to the Northern Arizona matchup on Saturday at 4 p.m. UNLV won 2 out of the 3 double matches, and they also won in singles, taking them for the win. Next up, the Rebels will be playing against Oklahoma State on Friday, March 17th, starting with doubles at 11 a.m. at the Fertitta Tennis Complex. Remember, Rebels, admission is free of charge, and let's show the team our support.
Logan marks the end of Hugh Jackman's 17-year run as a Wolverine. Albina Guido has more on its effects here at UNLV.
Hugh Jackman's final time as Wolverine in Logan excelled at the box office with over $80 million. Here's why UNLV students are excited to see Logan.
I heard it was really good, and I heard that there was like a lot of really good action, so I'm kind of an action buff, so I'd rather see that than like a love story.
I love just the action scenes. Yeah, like I'm an action guy, so. I want to see it for the action. And I watched the other ones too, so I want to, end it.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan. Maybe a quarter of it happened, and not like this.
From Logan, I want to know more about that little girl that is featured in the trailers, because I don't really pay attention to that whole Marvel universe, so I don't really know like if she's a main character later on down the road in Marvel movies. So I want to know like his relationship to her and his influence on her. I am excited to see Logan. I am excited to actually watch the other Wolverine movies and finally put pieces together on his story.
The storyline, I heard it has a good storyline from my friends.
Logan follows a maturing Wolverine caring for an ailing Professor X while having to get a new mutant, Laura, to safety. A big difference between Logan and the other X-Men films is the responsibility shift for Logan.
Not okay.
It's a full twist to it, and you have to really pay attention to what's going on in the movie. But it is different from the X-Men, and whoever the director was of Marvel, he did a good job of re-scripting Logan.
For Studio G, I'm Albina Guido.
No. No. No.
Man,
I know.
That's
that
crazy.
Just made me want to watch it for
I know.
sure. I haven't
Seems
really
like it
seen...
has really good critiques. I need to watch
does.
it. Definitely.
It's the end of the era. We definitely have to watch that
Most
one.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Studio G. Make sure to follow us on social media. I'm Kayleen Talents.
And I'm Alyssa Truesdale. We'll be back again tomorrow.